Good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D Bar, and we are here to get to a little bit of wrestling. All right. Now, all right. All truth, in all things, in transparency. There's a little bit of wrestling news that, truthfully, just kind of slipped my mind as of right now, recording this. I really don't think it's anything too big. I can make a small adjustment in the editing process if it comes back to me, but I doubt it will. I just thought about it. It was Andrade. It was Andrade, released from his Federation NDA fucking death row first blood contract. It's great news. He'll be wrestling in New Japan Wrestling very shortly against what was this young fellow's name? Yes, David Finlay. He will be wrestling against one David Finlay. So that should be entertaining. A lot of people seem very interested in that. So get Andrade back out there. A lot of people are teasing that we might get Andrade and Kenny finally, right? Something that I think has been on Tony Khan's plate for a while. He's finally getting it out. Maybe we even get like a bigger expansion, a more in-depth kind of Don Callis Civil War with Andrade on the clear side. Listen, I'm excited for what we can get. And honestly, it's a shame that Andrade couldn't be in the Continental Classic, but it is what it is, right? A shout out to Andrade, and I'm looking forward to his next endeavors, all right? The Idol is free, and shout out to Beast Mortos. Apparently, Roosh was, hooked up Andrade with Beast Mortos. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we gonna get some fucking Andrade grabs. Couldn't be happier for that, all right? Back to the program. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. So, with everything being said, we will be getting to December's 22nd, the Federation's Raw, all right? This Raw left me very hey, another episode of Raw where nothing happens. Who's surprised by this? What I can speak on with some kind of excitement is Austin Theory. As we all know, one of my better performing videos had Austin Theory joining the Sword, not the No Names, because it was a name established first, right? We actually make these people feel important by giving them a title, right? But no. We're just gonna have them go on for 2 months in the real world without a name, right? So whatever the fuck that was. Austin Theory being a part of the No Names in the real life timeline, it has potential. Some of his reasoning, some of the explanations getting theorized online, no pun intended. It fits the mold of, up and coming future star, but it really does have to be performed. It does have to get performed perfectly. Whether this means Austin Theory is trying to usurp Paul Heyman, whether this means that Austin Theory, is the eyes and ears for Seth. Whatever this is, it has to mean something. I even think him doing like the kind of a curb stomp, it hits, right? It means something, right? So, but that's my quick little thing on Austin Theory. We'll kind of be circling back around to him at the end of this episode. But again, there's not a lot that happens on this Raw. You know what happens on this Raw? A lot of Minute Maid ads. We got a lot of Minute Maid ads. A lot of why is there Prime bottles, right? There's Prime bottles in every other fucking corner of this match. Horrible fucking aesthetics, by the way. You have that, but you can't get like big Minute Maid bottles. Like you can't get Minute Maid jugs, and I don't know. Wouldn't that make more sense to have a Minute Maid cart? Right? Instead of a fucking Prime cart and a Minute Maid sponsor? Whatever. That's so fucking dumb. Alright, whatever. Enough fucking questioning the fucking, intellectual fucking capabilities of this fucking brand. Alright? The first match of the night. Alright? It's Asuka versus Rhea. Asuka is a great performer. Rhea, she goes out there, she gets defeated with the fruit roll up. Again, they want to protect their strong guys, and it makes sense to a certain extent, but I'd be damned if I told you that I wasn't very unentertained with the idea of Asuka not going over clean on Rhea. I think that match on paper, that's money, that's gold waiting to be printed, but again, that's something that's too easy, right? So we can't get it. Well, it was fine. There was a pretty cool spot on the apron. And again, Kerry Sane on my screen is always a positive. She is a net positive on this brand, along with, just good selling from Rhea. Again, Asuka is one of the stronger acts, so Rhea wasn't treating this like a jobber match. It wasn't a jobber match, even though these ladies haven't had a lot of luck. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Next segment of the night, all right, we will be talking about, Javon Evans versus Pete Dunne, or maybe Tyler Bate. I'm not sure. Listen, I initially thought that this was a bunch of like AAA guys that got a chance to come up on the roster and show what they're worth, but then I really thought about it and I'm like, these niggas is probably just a part of the fucking Americano lattes, and then Grande Americano, and I think whoever the fuck the other one is. I can't tell them apart because how could you? They have masks on, right? Oh man, to think about where these guys were like 8 years ago, man, where does the time go? Anyways, yeah, so Pete Dunne, he gets his ass kicked by Javon Evans. One thing about Javon Evans is that boy will perform. It's very interesting that Javon Evans is on such a fast track to get fucking drafted and put on a roster. But Trick Williams, huh? Isn't that weird how quick they got Roxanne from one place to another, but y'all still got Mariah May down there. It's just the dichotomy. It's wow. I mean, Ole Miss can't get a minute of television, but y'all want to call it Mr. Iguana, huh? Over Ole Miss? Over Charlie Dempsey? Ooh, this company is ass. Okay, we could really kind of speed through this whole Maxine Dupree shit. I don't care about this, and not because Maxine Dupree is a bad performer, not like the whole oh, she can't wrestle, can't do her job. There are more people in that locker room who should be getting a fucking title opportunity than Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch has quite literally been in the championship slot since last year's WrestleMania, okay? I'm over it. All right, this entire story with her and Maxine, it's stale, okay? Get Maxine in there with some fresh blood, and maybe we can have a conversation. Maybe you get Raquel in there with Maxine Dupree. Huh? Maybe we get a fucking 20-minute classic between fucking Raquel Rodriguez and Maxine Dupree. Maybe. The potential's there, but you know what? We can't fucking get it because every other week Nikki Bella wants to do a run-in. We get a Judgment Day run-in. We get a Kabuki Warriors run-in. And it's so interesting because the tag division in this fucking company, it's awful. It's awful. It's dog shit. Don't get me wrong. The dub isn't any better, right? The dub is still kind of, a fawn shaking on their fucking baby legs when it comes to the women's tag division. But there's at least some genuine likability. There's some genuine character that oozes out of those folks over there at the dub. Willow Nightingale, right? Tony Storm, Athena, right? Marina Shafir. These are all people who bring their A game to that ring. Not like the Fed ladies can't, but they have to just move at a different pace. All right, we can't get a fucking all-star 5-star classic from Maxine Dupree because she simply isn't giving that time. They aren't producing her matches to give us that. So first to have this elongated thing with her and Becky, it's not worth it, folks. It is simply not fucking worth it, all right? There wasn't really anything big or heavy, pause, on this fucking card. I mean, there's a couple of things with Gunther and all the fucking old people in this fucking locker room. They're saying that, realistically, Gunther might go on this mega retirement run, taking care of all the quote unquote unks. That's a whole nother thing than that. That's a whole nother video, right? I really don't want to see Gunther versus Rey Mysterio. Not because I don't think it'll be a good match, but because I just feel like something will either go wrong or maybe it's going to be Rey's second to last match. Rey was, by the way, wrestling in AAA over the weekend. That's proof that niggas are listening to this podcast. Thank you. Hey, I don't know what to tell you. But on a real note, I really do feel like I want to protect all these older workers. And I don't know, man. It's something about Gunther's just kind of lackadaisical. It's interesting. I feel like his style is so much more quote unquote lazy than Okada. It's weird. People would kind of label Okada as the sleepy kind of loungy wrestler, but if I really put it to paper, I feel like Gunther kind of he pushes the pace a little bit, but then it's when that engine cools down, bro, it's this is the end of the match. Obviously, this is the end of the match, and I don't know, maybe I'm being too hysterical, but I really do feel like there are levels to Gunther's wrestling. I feel like this works better for some of our younger wrestlers. Maybe I'm crazy in that. I don't know. Alright, folks, that's pretty much everything for this Raw, not including this just weirdo, wacko, fucking Monday night heat ass fucking main event we got with the CM Mysterios versus the No Names. Now, and I'll be honest, right? I don't really care who was, touching the tag ropes with Austin Theory. Austin Theory and whoever they line him up with have the potential to take the reins of this company with Seth as the head and maybe two other individuals, one Intercontinental Champion and one as the second fiddle to Austin Theory, right? It is a very simple concept, but it can work. And I do genuinely believe that Austin Theory has the in-ring capabilities, as I've stated many times before, to pull that shit off, all right? Now, it is all about production, it is all about storytelling, it is all about creativity, something that the fraud, the nose, the booker, the Fina, so he doesn't know what the fuck that is, right? He doesn't have a fucking creative bone in his body. If you don't believe me, ask Brett, the Hitman, I got screwed in Montreal, Hart, okay? I listen. I didn't really have a lot of fun with this main event. What I did have fun with was trying to pick up the pieces of this hypothetical. What are we even building to? Royal Rumble in Saudi, right? Is that what we're building towards? Or no? I believe it's the January 6th anniversary, which is so fucking funny to say out of context. But the January 6th anniversary, essentially, that's what we're going to be celebrating. And we're probably going to see a new champion, something that probably should have happened when his boss and kayfabe relinquished the title to the locker room. Maybe just saying that, Pierce, you already don't do your job. Maybe just give the champion whatever. That was Raw. December 22nd, 2025. Nothing really to write home about. What I can say though is that some women's grabs made this semi-bearable, and CM Punk, I give CM Pompadour and a Pepsi Phil, I give him a lot of shit. He deserves a lot of shit. I did say that he was on probation for at least a month, but I've lessened it to a week because I'm not gonna lie, that championship fits him like a motherfucking glove, man. And hopefully the title division in this company doesn't go in the absolute shitter. All right, we don't get another fucking Julia-esque title run with Mello or like something of those likes, right? That's pretty much everything though. There are some other stuff going up maybe tomorrow, not today because it's Christmas. But that was everything. All right, this has been your boy Cappy DeBarra. I hope all of you stay safe, stay tuned, stay beautiful. All right, ho ho ho.